Hello. A layered weaving is fundamentally different from cotton weaving and twining in that we will weave with a large number of tubes at once. In order to insert working tubes easier and more accurately, at the start we will weave the twining for a few rows. Now, we insert well-moistened tubes by each spoke. Accordingly, we have the same amount of working tubes as spokes. We widen a hole near a spoke. Then, we may dip the end of the working tube in glue and insert it near the spoke. We do the same with all the working tubes. As you see, I cut off a soft end on a sharp angle to make the end stiffer. Now it is easier to insert. When all the working tubes are in place and the glue has set, we can start weaving from any place. Let's say, from this tube. We keep a few tubes on the right so they don't bother us. Now, we put a working tube in front of the next spoke and behind the following one. Don't press down too hard. This pattern looks like a cotton weaving, but it goes at a slight angle. We repeat this process with the next working tube, in front of the next spoke and behind the following one. We continue this with all the working tubes, working our way from right to left. Afterwards, when you become better, you can do several stitches in a row before moving on to the next working tube, but one step at a time. Now, when we come to the end of the row, we'll have a few tubes coming from behind the spokes. Now this is important. Don't make a mistake. Always choose the lowest tube. At the end of the row, we'll see one working tube coming from behind each spoke. We push the tubes down a little bit so the height of the row is even all around. Once again, we can start the next row with any spoke, continuing to do all in the same way. The working tubes dry out very quickly in a weaving process. We can spray them with an atomizer without hitting the spokes or wipe them with a wet sponge. The simplest way to finish the layered weaving is to cut off the working tubes right behind the spokes. Then we can push them down, weaving a few rows with the pairing. But then we will see stumps on the inside. To avoid this, we need to hide the tube's ends in the weaving. For that, we take 2 new working tubes, or lengthen the old working tubes, and start weaving, let's say, with ordinary pairing. But we'll take not just a spoke, but a spoke together with the working tube and bring it up. So we weave at least 2 rows. After this, we can cut the working tubes all off and weave 1 more row to hide these stumps. There are a lot of varieties of layered weaving. As we do in cotton weaving, we can weave with 2 tubes at once, on double spokes, or by combining with a pairing. But we'll talk about that in other videos. Good luck!